Helping people is what I'm all about. Just don't expect any good results.
You got a study back home? Because my exquisite derriere might make you say otherwise.
Don't expect me to fight the power without creating a scene.
Hello, and welcome to the Real Housewives of River Heights. My name is Jade Gregory, and as always, we have my wonderful and amazing fellow housewives, Tina.
Hello, my beautiful dolls. How are you doing?
And Nikki.
Hey
And
guys.
today we have special guest, Elise Chen.
Yay.
Elise, feel free to tell everyone about yourself.
So, as a housewife, I met my husband at, it was an art convention. It was pretty cool. It was a pretty snazzy kind of thing. It was specifically the national convention for artists who are about to snap and kill someone at any minute. So, we had a lot in common. There were a lot of de-stressors around just to make sure that no one kind of, started something bad. And then we got to talking. We were talking about art and seahorses, and it just went from there. And now we're happily married.
Wonderful, I love it. As always, we have a spoiler warning for those who have not yet played the Nancy Drew video game series. And a not safe for work. There will be swearing, talks of alcohol, etc. So kick the kiddos out and let's get rolling. Alright, y'all, today we will be discussing one of my personal faves, number 4 in the series, Nancy Drew and Treasure in a Royal Tower. Based on the book of the same title from the Nancy Drew Mystery Stories, number 128, released in 1995. The game was released not long after, on August 1st, 2001, by Her Interactive. Our plot for the story is Nancy Drew is snowed in at the Wickford Castle Ski Resort in Wisconsin. Not long after she arrived, the castle's historic library was vandalized, and one of the guests was shouting that her room had been robbed. The castle was originally owned by a millionaire who had Marie Antoinette's tower from the Chateau Rochemont in France taken apart and rebuilt into Wickford Castle, but the entrance is hidden and sealed off. Nancy needs to explore the castle for clues and find her way into the Queen's Tower. Alright, who would like to go first talking about the plot?
Okay, so I love how everything started with a rich American dude who saw a tower in France, like from the 18th century, with a lot of historical baggage. We're talking about a tower that the Queen visited a lot when she was alive. And he loved it, and he was like, "I'm going to purchase it and bring it to the America."
Are we
We're
surprised?
the American dream.
The French Revolution's the American dream.
So, like, what screams more American dream than just walking in a foreign country, seeing a castle, liking it, and just purchasing and bringing it to your home country? What could be better than that?
You want to know what's
Yeah.
funny about that is that America did not help out when the French began to revolt, but the French helped the Americans.
That was a whole thing that they didn't deliver. Wasn't it like during the Revolutionary War they had promised like, oh, when it's your turn we'll help, and then they
Yes,
didn't.
if you've listened to Hamilton the musical.
Yeah, that's why I know that.
I was like, man, you guys are really up on your history. Like, I didn't know that.
I've listened to Hamilton way too much.
Oh, believe me, they are the historical nuts. I'm just here drinking.
Yeah, I feel dumb now. I'm just gonna
I
leave.
took every history class possible in college like a weirdo. So, yeah, that's me as a person.
I can help you with Canadian history a bit, but I don't think I don't think it will fit in any games except maybe Icicle Creek. But
Yeah.
honestly, though, in Icicle Creek, I'll still be drunk, so I won't be any help.
So here's the real historical question. Is it true that chocolate milk was invented in 1920?
I actually don't know. I I can definitely say that it was not invented by Ezra
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Okay. We're on the same page.
I'll quickly Google that though.
I am definitely not Googling.
I can hear your keyboard.
It was okay. When was chocolate milk invented? Google says in the 1700s, but it's not entirely known.
I feel like it was probably one of those things that was invented in China in like 2000 BC.
Fireworks were invented in China.
It says that like drinkable cocoa was, because cocoa is like indigenous to the Caribbean islands, so technically it was invented in Jamaica because that's where like hot cocoa came from.
That's an interesting place for that to be invented, considering the climate.
So yeah, so
like sweating in humid weather. Can't wait for some hot cocoa.
That's all. This article I found said that basically it was kind of a combination of things. So cocoa was native to Jamaica, and they would drink it mixed into water. But when the Europeans came to Jamaica, and they tried it, they decided to try it with milk because they didn't like the taste of cocoa and water. And that's how hot chocolate came about, or chocolate milk, because they mixed milk, sugar, and cocoa. So it's kind of like a cross-cultural thing.
I will say hot cocoa and milk is superior to hot cocoa and water.
Oh, definitely. The texture is so much better. So Europeans, you did one thing right.
I had no idea that cocoa with water was a thing. But when I read the packages, I'm like, wait, does anybody drink this with water? That kind of looks
because the hot chocolate instructions will always say use boiling water, and I'm like, it's so much better with milk though.
Yeah, I feel like it'd be like eating cereal with water.
I guess we will let the Americans pass on, like the Europeans pass on that.
Yeah,
we'll let the Europeans get away.
I mean, to be fair, I used to make it with water until I became an adult.
That's fair.
Jade.
I was a small child. My mommy would make it for me. She made it with water. Bring it up with her.
Oh my gosh.
A true traumatic childhood.
Personally for me, I really dig the plot, but I'm also a big history nerd, so it makes sense. But I also like the idea of Marie Antoinette not being the bad guy that everyone makes her out to be. Because a lot of historians are finding that, I mean, think about it. She got married at age 15, became a monarch at age like 17, 18. She was a child. She didn't know any better, and next thing you know, she is queen. Like, I think they were handed that monarchy was just handed the what's the saying? Dealt the wrong cards. In that situation, they kind of were set up for failure to begin with. So
when I think about this game, a few thoughts comes to mind. First, it's that meme from RuPaul's Drag Race. Opulence! You own everything! And the second thing that I'm thinking about is how I am torn between eat the rich and give me that tiara made with a ruby, emerald, sapphire, and 52 karat diamond now. So this game just makes me confused. Do I want to eat the rich, or do I want to be opulent?
Yeah, the motive.
You go.
The motive's relatable.
So one of the things that I noticed is, so unlike White Wolf of Icicle Creek, where Nancy is actually hired to be the maid as part of her undercover thing, Nancy's not the maid in this game, so why does Dexter keep forcing her to do chores? She's literally supposed to be a guest here, and that too, she's a friend of the owner, and Dexter just forces her to do like all his work and refuses to fix her radiator.
Yeah,
Like,
that's what I noticed.
Nancy
Is
should
that
leave 1 star on like TripAdvisor or whatever.
yup. And here's the thing: there was an opportunity for him to do it when he was when she asked him, "Can you fix my radiator now?" He was like, "Not yet. I just got a call about the stairs being dark, so you need to go to the breaker and check that out." Which,
Yeah,
by the way, is it appropriate for Dexter to ask her to go and fix the lighting with the breaker?
not
A
at all.
teenage girl? I'm just saying. But he could have totally just fixed that radiator while she was fixing the breaker. Or he could have just asked, he could have just given her the stuff and she could have fixed the radiator herself. Because I mean, she could have. It's probably easier than disarming a bomb. I'm just saying, she could have done it. So
Yeah, and I mean, isn't a leaking radiator dangerous? Like, shouldn't that be kind of the number one thing Dexter fixes? Because it was like hissing, so I assumed that there was like a gas leak or something.
yeah, which is why I think that Dexter being asked to become Christie's partner at the end, I'm like, you want to ask this incompetent man
Yeah.
to be your partner? Excuse me. Have you noticed that he asked a teenage girl to do all the work for him? Have you noticed this? So yeah, this is why I do not support Dexter becoming Christie's partner.
And on a similar note, all the employees that we meet in this game at the resort are lazy because in the beginning of the game, when you go talk to Jacques for the first time, he wants you to drop off the boots to Hotchkiss. And it's like, that's your job. It's two
Wait, no.
flights of stairs.
To be fair, it was Dexter who asked Nancy. Well, Nancy asked if she could help, and he was
Oh,
like, you if you want to help, you could ask Jacques for the Hotchkiss boots. Then you could drop it off to her
Jacques
room.
also said that he's not a bellhop. That's why he wouldn't do
what
it.
does he
Yes.
do
But
then?
Nancy
Yep.
is,
That
apparently.
Jacques knows his own boundaries. He knows how Dexter is, and he's like, I'm not about to let this little old man tell me how to do my job, tell me what things to do, okay? That's his job, not mine. But Nancy, she doesn't know how to say no, apparently.
Yeah, I was gonna say because it seems like if you let him, Dexter will just kind of walk all over you and make you do anything.
And another reason why Dexter is incompetent, not only did he give us the wrong locker,
Mm-hmm.
he gave us the combination to a locker that was already occupied.
Yeah.
Like it's a simple task. How do you fuck that up?
Imagine if Nancy was someone else. She could have stolen Lisa's stuff, and Lisa could have probably, I don't know, sued the hotel for theft. I don't know what it fall under theft, but
Yeah, I was gonna say that my only main complaint about the plot in this game is that it's like you are hit with that wall of chores right in the beginning. It's like you don't even have like any other good stuff first. It's just like you get out of bed, you go downstairs, and then you have like a task list to do. It feels a little non-detective-y, but I also passionately hate the chores in Nancy Drew games. So I don't know if it's being completely unreasonable, but it just like I don't know, it ruins the flow for me.
Yeah, the thing about Treasure in the Royal Tower is that the plot is interesting, but they tried to pad it up by having someone give Nancy stuff to do like chores. That's how they try to pad it up. So it makes the game longer. We have to do all of this in order to progress because if they weren't for the chores, we could have ended this game in a few minutes.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, just saying. If, like, for example, if we were to get that can right away, we could have just gone into that secret tunnel just like that and found the tower. There you go. We just found it. I do not dislike the plot, but I actually find the plot very compelling. It's just that the gameplay, they made it so that it's padded with like chores, and it's kind of a bummer. But mostly compared to Message in a Haunted Mansion, I think that the gameplay is better. There are more puzzles, in my opinion. There are more puzzles that were more compelling. And I want to make a remark. Whoever came up with the menu for the Wickford Castle menu, they I want to give kudos to that
They
person.
deserve a raise.
Yes, because I love whatever is on that menu. The names that it came up with. For example, a better than nothing broccoli surprise. I want to see what this is.
I bet it's Jello. I bet it's broccoli Jello.
Ew.
Oh, okay.
Ew.
And they had like key in parentheses to enlightenment, lime pie. They had Odyssey to Banana Land, and they had hot diggity, all you can eat fried chicken drumsticks, stuff like that. It's really fun. Me, I love these names.
I feel like if you ate off that menu for like longer than a week, you'd probably have a heart attack. You would get clogged arteries very quickly.
Yes, definitely.
I mean, maybe your broccoli could go for most of your vegetables, I guess. I'm trying to see the positive here, but yeah, you might suffer from a heart attack after a week of eating this. And I love how Hotchkiss is like, I'm not much of a meat eater, but I'll take 50 chicken drumsticks, please.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, not much of a meat eater. Got it.
And like how she's trying to order couscous off of basically a kid's menu that has like bologna sandwiches.
I find it so interesting that in his 60, 70 years on this earth, Dexter never heard of couscous.
He was in jail.
Well,
Yeah, he was in prison for 25 years, which I guess we'll get into with the
Yes.
characters.
80 minus 25.
He's
There's
not
still plenty of
80.
time.
He is not 80.
All right.
He
So
was okay. So he was like a little kid. Was a little kid in like 1945, right?
yeah.
And this game was what, like 2000 something?
Yeah, it was like roughly 2000.
Yes, 2001.
So he was probably born in like the early 30s.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so he would...
Okay, so he's 70.
Okay, he's-
All
right.
Yeah, but 80 is too old.
And also, I want to point out that the fact that there's this big castle, which is at a hotel as well, and they only have 3 guests, it makes it kind of like weird, because how do you stay in business? The fact that we can explore this big castle and there is like literally nobody except for I said 3, right? Wait, which one is the third guest?
There's Hotchkiss, Lisa, and... Oh, no, I guess 2 guests.
Yeah.
Nancy.
Other than
3
Nancy.
with
Nancy.
you, yeah.
Yeah,
so
3 with Nancy. I'm guessing that maybe it was an off weekend.
There was a blizzard.
Maybe Nancy got a Groupon deal or something.
Oh, probably. Maybe it's an off season, but
Yeah.
even then, 3 guests for like a big castle like that, it's not a good sign.
I want to say it was implied that it was because of the storm, but
Yeah, that like other people couldn't get up
yeah, I don't know why more people wouldn't have just been trapped inside them.
All right, so we can kind of tap into the characters. The first character I do have is Dexter Egan written down. So Dexter Egan was an orphan who was adopted by the castle's original owner, millionaire Ezra Wickford. Dexter grew up in the castle and now resides there as the caretaker. And then a little snippet is, are there secrets about the castle that he's trying to hide?
Did we already mention that he is incompetent?
Yes.
Yes.
One thing I guess that's important to know about Dexter is he went to prison for 25 years for, I believe it was passing fake checks and identity fraud. He was using like fake IDs, and him and his friends were passing bad checks. And so he went to prison. We don't know exactly when. We know that he left the castle at age 16. I don't think it's stated exactly how old he was when he went to prison, but I think that you can find a newspaper in the game that tells you he got out of prison a few years prior to the start of the game.
I think that was in the shed outside.
Yeah.
But we found out more about what he did, the bad things he did in a scrapbook, which, by the way, let's talk about that
I
scrapbook.
was waiting to talk about the scrapbook. So
Yeah.
excited.
Yes.
That is very important to his character. Yes.
There were two scrapbooks. There was one where it says when he was good, he was very good. But when he was bad, he was horrid. Like, it sounds to me like when he was bad, he was a fucking monster that needed to be locked away.
I also think that it's so wild for a parent to keep a scrapbook full of every bad thing their child ever did. Like, can you imagine if your parents did that to you? Like, every bad grade you got on a test, every, like, parking ticket, and they just kept it in a scrapbook for years.
I know. I think that's like so hilarious. Like, okay, you have this nice scrapbook set up. They put like little flowers in the corner of your parking tickets and your minor crimes, and then extended family comes over. They're like, okay, let's just like get out all the scrapbooks and look through them. Let's see what little Johnny's up to.
I mean, don't your parents, now that you're adults, don't they put up? Don't they open in front of you the scrapbooks of everything horrible that you did? Oh my gosh, daughter, do you remember when you threw that egg on that house and you got into trouble with the law? Oh, that was so funny.
You were so horrid.
Remember when you were caught cheating and the professor had the school had to suspend you? Such good memories.
I'd be sitting there like, this is why I don't come home for the holidays.
Yeah, I feel like there might have been parenting problems involved if yeah.
Oh, remember when you got that court order and then you got sent in jail? Oh my gosh, I have such fond memories over this.
Remember when you assaulted that old lady and beat her up and stole her purse? Oh, that's so cute.
Yeah, this truly wild parenting on Ezra Wickford's part to make both of these scrapbooks.
I mean, at least he had a good one. Like,
yeah, at least he had a good one, but to make a scrapbook of all the bad memories you have with your son is just extra.
Also, if you compare the good with the bad, in the good ones, it's mostly like, oh, he won a spelling bee, or oh, he helped this, old lady. Oh, he got a badge in his Boy Scouts or some shit like that. And in a horrible scrapbook, and he's like, he tried to fraud by using fake checks. Oh, he did some vandalism on his school, stuff like that. It's like, pretty sure the bad one outweighs the good one by a lot.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I didn't even think about that. Like, oh, look, this is a picture of him picking up his toys. Wow, so good. And then on the other end, it's like, he shot someone.
Congratulations, your character is a gray character in the gray area. Good, congratulations, I guess. But yeah.
All right. Any other tidbits, things about Dexter, or can we move on to our next character?
I feel like Dexter is definitely one of the most interesting and probably most liked characters by the fandom as a whole, because you could go throughout the game and he never explains to you why he did this and he did that. He is way more multi-dimensional than most characters. To be honest, this game gave us two very iconic
Yes.
characters, Dexter and Hotchkiss, and they're still thought about or talked about to this day. Especially Hotchkiss. But when it concerns Dexter, he is considered one of the most multifaceted characters, because he is not just good or bad. He is complicated. He is someone who was adopted. He did all of this, but he can't explain why. He is just unexplainable, and today he just wants to get redeemed, and he just wants to be forgiven. We as the players, we can only guess why he did all of this horrible stuff and broke Ezra's heart, although that scrapbook might have been a hint. But this is probably why people remember the character of Dexter and consider him one of the best characters. Some of the best characters in the Nancy Drew series.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. Like, in terms of all the characters in this game, I think at least compared to later games in the series, there really isn't that much dialogue. So everything you learn about any of the characters, and especially Dexter, is stuff that you have to discover and read for yourself. So it's like, you really don't talk to him that much, except for him like telling you what to do, and yet he's like this super interesting character because of the things you come across. So I think that's a really cool way to do it.
Yeah, definitely.
And also the fact that we explained to Dexter where that red clay came from.
The
Is
red
that
dust
clay?
on her boots. You have two opportunities to explain to him. You can either lie the first time and tell him later, or tell him straight up, and he's like very understanding, especially if you do the second option, like where you tell him later and say, I'm sorry, but like I'm gonna be honest with you. He's like very understanding. He's like, I was wondering when you were going to tell me, da 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 da, like kind of like that grandpa character a little bit. Like he's very caring and like cares about Nancy when he finds her knocked out and all that kind of thing. Like he's like very like that quiet grandpa, like who's like, he cares about you, but he's not going to be expressive with his emotions.
Yeah, and he didn't get mad at you when when you told him where the red dust came from. He was actually very impressed with you, with your inquisitive mind, which you wouldn't expect. You would think that he would get mad that you overstep your boundaries and when you where you weren't supposed to. But he was like, I remember I tried to get to that tower when I was a kid and all of that. You could feel in his voice that he still has fond memories about his childhood, despite whatever happened when he was younger, despite the fact that he got disowned by his own man. He's still like, oh yeah, I remember that thing from when I was younger. It was pretty interesting.
Yeah, he's a very very well thought out character. Any last bits about Dexter?
I was thinking when I replayed the game this past week, because it had been a long time, I realized you could do something towards the end of the game that I don't think I ever noticed before, and I don't know if everyone did this, but when, I think it was after you got into the tower, like the tower room, and you looked at the stuff on the floor. Oh, and at least once you got into the passageway, because you could ask him about the chain puzzle. But basically you could ask, like, how do I figure this out? And I didn't know you could do that, because then he was like, oh, yeah, we can't talk about this here. Someone could be listening. Call me later. And then you go up to your room and you call him, and he's like, I don't know the answer.
That's so funny.
Oh my god.
He just leads you on.
Yeah. He's like, oh, this is a big secret. We don't want prying eyes.
Oh my gosh, he's
Yeah,
a
he is. Maybe go all the way
Wow.
upstairs for this.
Wow. Yeah, I didn't know that.
Wow.
I didn't know that either. I might have. I have horrible memory. So
I didn't even know you could call him in the game, but it was if you dial the operator.
that's okay. In the last game, I didn't know you could press M and you'd get a map for the computer maze. So
I feel so bad for you.
Wow.
That's the only way I ever solved those maze puzzles.
There's a map?
Yeah, you press
it's
M.
not just me.
Who would know that though? That's so, I mean, I don't want to say it's random, but like, what are you gonna do? Press every key? Like, oh, tab, spacebar.
I'm not alone.
Wait, hold on. Map what? Hold
You're
on.
talking
Wait, what?
the last game. Because I didn't. A lot of us don't know about. You could call Dexter. I was saying that's okay. I didn't know you could press M on the map in the last game.
Okay.
Apparently, I wasn't alone. So
Yeah, that's wild.
Oh my
I found
gosh.
out the day we recorded.
Oh my gosh.
All right, let's move on to Jacques Brunei. Jacques is a former French Olympic skater who has now retired as a ski instructor at Wickford Castle. He has a fiancée named Isabelle, whom he is very eager to marry. His great-grandfather helped prepare the castle's tower for shipment to Wisconsin, so perhaps his ties to the castle run deeper than meets the eye.
Okay, so I wanna ask everybody, do you find Jacques
No.
attractive?
No.
No,
No, okay,
not
so
at all.
I wanna ask whoever made this game, do they find Jacques attractive?
He's supposed to be like hot, I think, but he just isn't to me.
Yeah, it's like even if we weren't to say a single word to him, he doesn't look that attractive. According to Lisa, she's like, Jacques is Vava Vroom.
Yeah.
I'm like, Vava where?
I feel like it's that thing of like Americans being like, "Oh, he's so exotic because he's French," and that's why they think he's hot.
The
but
phone
he's
call
like,
with Bess.
yeah,
I, as someone who lives in Quebec, I'm not French, but I live in a French. I live in the French-speaking part of the world,
hmm
and let me just say, I am not impressed. Just because you're French, am I supposed to be impressed? I'm gonna have to do better
It's
than
the
that.
accent.
Accent,
he
yeah.
also just sucks as a person. I really dislike him.
He's sexist, low key. Not even
He-
low key,
Oh,
high
yeah.
key. Sorry, he's sexist, high key. Like the things he says to Nancy is just like, no, dude, step off. Like,
So the fact that he refers himself as a French work of art, I'm like, that is very bold of you to say, considering you are not that attractive. Sorry, not sorry.
He said work of art, but he didn't say which work of art. I mean, he could have been comparing himself to like The Scream or something.
Oh my god.
Okay, all right. I'll give him some slack because he could have referred to himself as. Yeah, I don't know. Whatever horror movie.
Does Jacques ever say how old he is? Because I remember that at the beginning of the game, he says that his fiance goes to University of Wisconsin-Madison.
He looks 40.
Yeah, that's what. So I was like, he's dating. She could be going to
She
grad
could
school.
be
I
going
guess
to grad
I just
school.
assumed he meant undergrad, but who knows?
But even if she's like 25 and he's like 40, that's still really creepy.
well, he's a retired Olympian. So how old's the cutoff for
You
being an
usually
Olympian?
peak in your 30s in
Oh,
sports.
so yeah,
I
it's
think.
possible he is that old.
Yeah, I mean, he could be a bit younger because I think it said that he retired early because he had like he messed up at the Olympics or something, and his career pretty much ended there. So he may have had to retire earlier than he would have.
Why is an Olympian struggling for money anyway? Shouldn't he
I
have a
think
lot of
it's because he
sponsors?
was disgraced when he messed up, so he couldn't I guess his contracts were probably pulled or something, so he can't make money anymore.
That's how you know that it was made in the 2000s, because if it was right now, he would be getting so much deals. Do not underestimate the power of memes.
True.
Bad publicity is good
Yeah.
publicity.
Yeah.
Epic fail compilation. Jacques Brunei.
Yeah, everybody would be talking about him. It would be a good thing, you know? But also, I want to ask, when you tell him, okay, that's all I wanted to say to you, he says ciao. Why does he say ciao when he is French? It's not a. It's not.
Ciao,
a
va bene.
French
He's Italian
word.
now.
Au revoir. That would have been more appropriate for his character.
Yeah. I don't know if any of you guys noticed this, but Jacques' character model, his biceps they're made in such a way that they look very strange on his arms. Like his biceps don't match his shoulders. So if you look at his character model, he has these like bulging biceps, but then when you see where like his armpit area is, it's not where his bicep ends. So it looks like he has like water wings on. And I noticed it when I was doing my notes for this game, and I couldn't unsee it after that. Yeah.
I gotta like
For
look
everyone in
this
the
up
audience,
now. I need to
please go
see him
look
again.
up Jacques in this game. You just specifically go look
His
at Jacques'
biceps,
bicep
specifically.
because it's pretty funny.
I'll be honest. When you said bulge, I thought of something else. Yeah, I'm so sorry. I'm gonna go in the corner now.
Go in the horny corner.
Yes, you're in timeout now.
But ew, how did you not notice this?
Yeah, like once you see it, you can't unsee it.
It's like they photoshopped different arms on a guy with skinny arms.
It literally looks like he's wearing like floaties.
Yeah. You never know when the castle could flood.
Oh my gosh, I see
Yeah, you
it
see
now.
it, right?
Oh my gosh.
It's horrible.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Wow.
Literally.
Once it is seen, it cannot be unseen.
Also, but yeah, Jacques is misogynistic apparently. The way he refers
Yes.
to American women,
Mm-hmm.
even though he is about to marry an American woman, which, by the way, I want to say to Isabel, please flee. You can find better. But no, she got married to him, which I'm not okay with.
It's so like their whole relationship in my brain was just sketchy to begin with, because even like her parents don't like him.
Her parents don't like him because they're like, he should have bought you a ring. I guess, to be fair, I guess her parents are probably like, this dude's broke. Like, he can't even buy you a ring. How's he going to take care of you? Like, you have student loans to pay, Isabel. What are you going to do? Yeah, so it is fair.
Reasonable, though.
That being said, Nancy makes a comment about the green card thing too, though. She says, like, oh, I hope that Jacques isn't marrying her to be able to stay in this country. And I was like, when did he say that, Nancy?
His locker. There is the government sends him a letter saying that he has a month left of his visa
Right
before he has to leave the country. So it comes across that he's marrying Isabel for a
that
green
letter
card.
to me is a bit of a plot hole, and this is a bit of a nitpicky thing, but the letter says that he's here on a visitor's visa, but he's working at the castle. So if he's working there, then he's working there illegally because he doesn't have a work visa. So I don't know. I'm assuming that was just a slip up on her Interactive's part, but that could have been an interesting detail that he's like working illegally to get money.
Well, it wouldn't be the first or last time that there's a plot hole in an NCG game. But to be fair, I never thought about that.
Yeah.
And the main thing that makes us really not like Jacques is that when we got clobbered on our head, Nancy got clobbered on her head and she woke up in her room and she called him. He showed no concern for her well-being. He was only focused on the fact that the medallion got stolen, which, by the way, way to go, Romeo. But like literally he couldn't care less about the fact that Nancy, got attacked, got assaulted.
Yeah.
A woman got assaulted and you're angry at her for losing the medallion. Get real, honey.
He calls her being passed out on the floor taking a cat nap.
Damn, yeah, I was rubbed off by this, and there is an inconsistency here.
Mm-hmm.
If you talk to both Dexter and Jacques, which makes it way worse if it's real, because Dexter said that he found Nancy on the floor and he carried her to her bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
But he doesn't mention Jacques. But Jacques says that he found her taking a cat nap on the floor. So either he found her and he just left and left her like that on the floor. Either that, or he and Dexter both discovered Nancy, but Dexter is the one who carried her up while he was watching him carry her. He didn't help. So yeah, regardless, he's a dick, to be honest. So that makes it more fucked up. Which is why, Isabel, please, it's not too late to divorce. It is not too late to divorce.
You've been married for him for 20 years. You can do it.
So yeah, fuck Jacques, I guess.
Yeah, I wish you had the opportunity to, like, at least, once you got the blue medallion back, I wish you could, like, I tried to give it to him. I was like, okay, here's your medallion, click on him. But he was like, oh, go away, little
Yeah,
Miss
you can't even give it
Nightmare.
back to him. Or
And then you can't even tell him that you
yeah,
found
because he'll
it.
be like,
It's
oh,
really
keep the
frustrating.
stupid medallion. But I'm like, well, you can't even tell him that we found it, which is weird.
Yeah, I really wish they let you do
Or
that
at
at least.
least we show him the medallion, but we refuse to give it to him. We're like, ha 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 ha, I have it, you can't have it.
oh, here you go, and then and just pull it away at the last minute. Oh, sorry.
Any final things about Jacques?
I just want to say, like, besides him being horrible, he's just like a super
Yeah.
uninteresting character.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Jacques Brunei, more like Jacques Bruno. Okay, I'm gonna go in the corner.
I'm keeping that in. All right, then our next person will be Professor Beatrice Hotchkiss. Professor Hotchkiss is an eccentric woman who was robbed but refuses to leave her room to talk to anyone about what happened. Chatty and knowledgeable, she is a scholar of French history specializing in Marie Antoinette. Is she trying to keep the treasure hidden by the doomed queen for herself?
Jade, you do realize that you can tell your opinions from time to time, right?
Yes, but I was letting others go first. Like the kind person I am, but I will go first. I love her. Honestly, no, I do really love Hotchkiss. I mean, honestly, I can't pass up a woman who studies French history specializing in Marie Antoinette. You know what I mean? I also find it hilarious that she'll never remembers Nancy's name unless it's convenient for her. There's like times where she remembers it and times that she doesn't.
Yeah,
I find that hilarious.
Yeah, I love how she like once she called Nancy Candy, as if it was more realistic for Nancy to have a stripper name than any other name.
What was it? Candy, Mandy,
Oh
Standy.
my gosh.
Those are the only three I can remember.
Wow.
But I'm like, none of those sound, well, I guess they do sound like Nancy, but I'm like, they all have D or A-N-D. Oh my
Andy
god.
Drew.
Yeah, like instead of the C. I don't know. And we do get to talk to her. She does come out of her room a bit. 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. though.
Our favorite night owl cougar.
Yes, that eyeshadow's a choice.
It is.
Can we also talk about the fact that she's creepy when she opens her door?
Yeah.
Like, when she was like, oh, is it Jacques with my boots? And then Nancy was like, no, it's Nancy with your boots. And the disappointment that she expressed when she learned that it was Nancy instead of Jacques with her boots. And I'm like, so I guess the Hotchkiss is into younger men, huh? Interesting.
So she is a cougar.
You know?
The eyeshadow gave it away.
You know, I will not judge Hotchkiss. I mean, good for her, but she could go for better than Jacques.
Yeah.
I feel like the age difference between Hotchkiss and Jacques is smaller than Jacques and his fiance.
It's possible.
It's likely. Probably like 10 years difference, I want to say.
Yeah.
I guess she's
Compared
probably
to the
like
20.
60 though.
Yeah, that's kind of how old I guess she was.
Still close.
I put her at 50, but I'll take it. Does anyone else really like Hotchkiss, or is it just me?
I'm okay with her. Like, I'm not like a huge Hotchkiss fan, to be honest. I find her kind of annoying.
Oh my gosh, Nikki, you might as well just lock your house. And, go into hiding for
They're coming for you.
We'll protect you. Don't worry, we will protect you.
People are about to come for me.
I guess I just like the quirky characters, because you have to remember I do like, oh god, I already forgot her name. And the second one, the crazy old lady in the
Abby?
prop room.
Oh,
No,
no.
I don't
Millie.
like Abby.
Millie,
Millie, there it is. I was like, no, I do not like Abby at all.
Honestly, I used to love Hotchkiss, but the fact that they brought her back twice in future games, really
4 times. I
4
thought.
times. Hold on.
She's in 4 games.
Really?
I thought.
Wait,
Wow.
hold
That's a
on.
lot.
There is Crystal Skull.
Mm-hmm.
There is
Hotchkiss is in Crystal Skull?
yeah,
Yeah.
Oh.
Tomb of the Lost Queen.
Yes. Plus Treasure in the Royal Tower.
Yeah, but what's the 4th one?
Somebody told me she was in 4 of them.
I only remember 3.
Google.
Oh my gosh. No, I think it is. I am totally not googling right now. Oh, she was in. Wait, hold on. What? She was in Secret Skin Cure. No,
What?
she wasn't. She wasn't in Secret Skin Cure Remastered. Her book.
I am incorrect. It is 3.
Her book was in Secret Skin Cure Remastered.
That's probably
Oh,
what I'm
okay.
thinking of. Yeah, no, she's verbally in 3 games. And physically in 1.
Yes, so the fact that they brought her back twice, I don't know, it made it lose a bit of charm to the character. Not that she's a bad character, don't get me wrong. It's just that they turned her into a gimmick rather than an actual character.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
They brought her back and they just continued her into playing this gimmick, and really she had pretty much no purpose in being there. Maybe they could have spin it.
She is a historian. That is her purpose.
No, but here's the thing, like, they did too much. That's the problem. They did way too
Yeah,
much.
I don't know why she's in Tomb of the Lost Queens, but Legend of the Crystal Skull at least makes sense.
Yeah, in Crystal Skull, I will say this: if they only did Crystal Skull, I'd be like, I still love her character. She's good and all of that. But she came back for Tomb of the Lost Queen, and she went into a whole speech about how she has this calendar about hot archaeologists. It's like, I don't know.
She would.
Okay, you think it's okay? It is funny. It is funny,
Come on.
but they caricatured her way too much, and we forgot it's we forgot the character in the first place, and not the caricature. If you
I
understand what I mean.
feel like that's kind of a standard her interactive thing to do, is like take a good thing and then beat it to death over the series. I mean, just thinking Sunny June mostly.
Yeah,
Can't
definitely.
think of other examples off the top of my head, but it's like, oh wow, well, people really like this character, so let's ruin it.
I did say that the fact that they brought her back twice kind of ruined a bit, but if you see her only through the lens of the her first appearance in a game, she's fantastic in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And she just is so memorable, and her passion, we can feel her passion on the subject, on French history, on Marie Antoinette, and you can really feel her energy, her kookiness. So it really brought a bit of life into the game compared to her counterparts, her character counterparts, where Dexter is a bit more grumpy. Jacques is a bit more like Jacques, to be honest. And we have Lisa, who is a bit more chill, but like more. There's not much to say about Lisa. We don't talk much about to Lisa, to be honest. But Hotchkiss, she was a bit more lively, so it really brought a lot of life to the game. And yeah, and her passion for the subject really made her likable, in my opinion. But I'm curious to know about why you didn't like her, Nikki.
I don't know. So it's a few things. Basically, like, I didn't like how she kind of imposes on Dexter with all her weird food requests. I just think like there's being quirky and there's like inconveniencing others. And I felt that like asking for couscous when you know it's not on the menu is kind of obnoxious. And I mean, she does order drumsticks, but she orders like 50 drumsticks and like y'all are snowed in. She probably ate all the drumsticks. Just so like, and then I don't know. I guess I don't find her to be like as great as people think she is.
I will say the couscous debacle is she didn't have a menu.
Did she really not have a menu though?
Oh, true. You right. What if she did and
No,
lied?
she okay. So if I recall correctly, we would knock on the door and ask her what she wants for dinner, and she'll be like, "Oh, I want couscous." So we asked Dexter, and he's like, "Oh, I don't know what couscous is. So can't she order something off the menu?" So we would go back, and she would be like, "Well, I don't have a menu." So we would give her a menu and would slide it under the door. Then she would look at the menu and order 50 chicken drumsticks. Which, by the way, I have friends who eat a lot, like eat 2, 3 plates. But I don't think there it's. I don't know if it's humanly possible to eat 50 chicken drumsticks.
I don't think it is. That is a lot of drumsticks.
Like
I
what kind
guess,
of?
what if she rationed them out for like a week? That was the only thing she ate.
Possibly.
But
Ew.
what about broccoli surprise?
The surprise is that it looks like broccoli, but it's actually just green drumsticks.
It's just a bunch of drumsticks that are made to look like a stalk of broccoli.
That sounds way worse than actual broccoli. I think my thoughts on Hotchkiss is that I want to say she might be one of the most iconic characters, like suspects in the game series as a whole, but it's also because she shows up earlier on in the series.
Mm-hmm.
And I wouldn't say she's like the most interesting character. I mean, I like her history knowledge and her passion and stuff like that, but it's not like she has some tragic backstory. Like, I would say Dexter is more interesting, but I would say, yeah, she's definitely entertaining. So good, 8 out of 10.
All right. I want to give some honorable mentions to Ned Nickerson for being our Charlie, for finally being the Ned that we all know and love.
Yeah. Fun fact, this was the first game which Scott Carty voiced Ned for, and he would continue
Yes.
to for the rest of the series.
Congratulations to Scott! You did it! You made it!
Yay!
You did it! Your Charlie was just too great to not be Ned. And then we have the OG Bess and like not OG Bess and Marvin, but like
Bess and
the
Marvin?
originals. Bess and Marvin? Yeah.
Marvin. I like it.
Screw George. It's Bess and Marvin now.
Bess and Marvin.
We still have the voice actors from the previous games that voice Bess and George, so there's not much to say other than they just sound really young and annoying. All right.
I'm glad I'm not the only one. Man, I don't want to talk to you people.
We've mentioned it before.
On the topic of voice acting, I actually think that Nancy's voice sounds different in this game. I don't know if anyone noticed this, but
yeah,
it's like more high pitched. So I'm not sure why Lonnie went with that this go around. I didn't like it.
I did actually notice that. I was like, Nancy sounds a little younger, like trying to be a little younger. Less Nancy. I don't know how to explain it, but
yeah, like in the earlier games, Lonnie would do a deeper voice for Nancy, but this one, she kind of uses a higher inflection. And I was like, maybe they told her to change it up a bit for this game. It's like the third game, but I don't know. Or fourth game.
Maybe she was actually in a studio this time.
Maybe.
Because you did mention last time that she would do a lot of the lines from home. So
yeah.
Let's move on to Lisa Ostrom. Lisa is a photojournalist who is at the castle to write an article about old Midwestern mansions. She loves to gossip about the other people in the castle, and she seems very interested in the castle's tower. Could she have an ulterior motive for picking this castle for her story?
Yes.
Well,
yes.
She's the culprit.
She's the no good doer person.
She has a bad wig.
That gives her away right away. She has a bad wig.
To be fair, though, we got spoiled by Hotchkiss herself when she revealed to us that Lisa was in her room and she got mistaken by a maid.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Well, didn't she say she was a maid? She didn't get mistaken
Yeah, she told Hotchkiss she was a maid because Hotchkiss says that Lisa went to her room and she was like, but I didn't ask for a maid or something. So Lisa, I think, lied and said she was like housekeeping to get in. So that is kind of a culprit giveaway at the beginning.
Plus, I think that was over the time where the blue medallion, like after you got knocked out and the blue medallion was missing. Yeah, and then previously under Hotchkiss's pillow, there wasn't anything there. And then Hotchkiss says that about Lisa being in her room. And then you go back in the room and then the blue medallion is planted in there.
Yeah. You're just like, I wonder. Because she's trying to make it seem like it's Hotchkiss, and then she tries to make it seem like it's Dexter, and then it's just like, girl, pick one.
Yeah.
But it's like there is a lot of giveaways as to why she would have been the culprit before we find out she is the culprit.
Yeah, there's a lot because you find out early on that she lies about being fluent in Spanish. She has fake IDs. She lied about being a maid to get into Hotchkiss's room. So I think that the game makes it fairly obvious that she's suspicious more than the other characters.
She tells us about Dexter carrying a shiny ornament, but she's like, oh, you go ahead. I'm gonna guard that comfy chair. It's like, what?
Yeah.
Aren't you a journalist? Why don't you want to find out what is happening?
Yeah, she's like, oh, I'm too busy. I need to work. I need to write my article. And then she like goes back reading her magazine.
The only one she brought.
And she only reads one article too.
Over
really
and
good
over.
article.
So I will say though, I do respect that Lisa just spills tea on everyone in the castle. Every time you talk to her, she's always ready to gossip, and you know what? I respect that.
Me. She's me. And I love how Nancy, when she confronted her about the IDs, and she was like, "Yeah, what about it?" And she told her that, being a photojournalist, you don't have time to play by the rules, and she's sure that Nancy knows what she means. It's as if she knew that Nancy was a detective. I
I
I
don't
like that.
I don't know if Nancy, I don't think she mentions it, but I don't think she kept it a secret either. So Lisa probably looked her up or something.
Oh,
Yeah, I
maybe.
think Nancy didn't say it, but she also like introduced herself to Lisa by being like, "Yeah, I want to break into the library." Like it wasn't very subtle.
And also when Lisa was like, I barely passed the Spanish in school, and Nancy was like, habla español? As
Not
if,
really.
what kind of flex is that? She literally just told you that she failed the Spanish in
Well,
school, and you're gonna flex like that? What was that for?
The reason that Nancy does that is because when you snoop in Lisa's locker, you find a letter that she wrote in fluent Spanish to her friend. So Nancy knows, I think, at that point that Lisa is lying. I think that's why she does that.
It could be before or it could be after.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think there's a way to ask her before she snoops in the locker. But I think most people snooped in the locker before asking her, because the reason why we brought it up is because we talked about Hotchkiss being talking a foreign language, and she was like, I'm not sure, maybe she's a French teacher, but don't quote me on that. I barely passed Spanish.
Mm-hmm.
That's the reason why we brought it up. But
Yeah.
at that point, there's a possibility we haven't looked into the locker yet. Okay, so I don't know. I don't know if anybody else noticed it, but Lisa looks like an older version of Connie Watson.
Depending on what version of the game you're playing, she looks like a younger version of Connie Watson.
Wait, oh my god! No, wait, hold on. I was thinking the original one, but
Yeah.
like
Maybe.
she looks like Connie Watson grew up, and she went in a phase called like hard drugs, and she ended
no.
and she ended up in that tower trying to find a way to get some money. But yeah, I don't know. There's a big similarity in physical appearance between Connie and Lisa.
They definitely have a similar style and haircut.
Mm-hmm.
I think Lisa only looks older because of her older woman boobs. They're very low. It's like distracting.
And that wig in her ID, like Tanya Lee Good.
Oh,
Tanya
is
Lee
it the
Gooding?
blonde? The blonde
Mhm.
wig.
It's the blonde
Oh.
blonde wig. Like that wig is so not flattering.
It was awful, yeah.
Yes, I don't know who told her that she looked good, but whoever did, they were lying. Like someone should have snatched that wig out of her head and be like, try again. Whoever took that picture for her ID probably afterwards talked to their coworkers and be like, have you seen that lady with that awful wig?
Also, I don't know why they had her voice acting be the way it was, because I don't think it matches her appearance at all.
It's so
So
bad.
weird.
It's so bad.
It is true though. Yeah, it's the voice acting. It's kind of
High pitch.
She sounds like a middle schooler. Like
Nancy.
Also,
Yeah.
she's
Did you
younger
hear
than
what
Connie
Dexter
Watson.
did?
So she's younger than Connie
Yeah.
Watson.
she's Connie Watson in middle school.
Or she is Connie's mother, but she wants to be Connie's a sister. You know, like your mother
Oh,
wants to be
she's
your
like a
sister.
cool mom.
The cool mom, yeah.
Yeah.
So, according to her fake IDs, like based on the year she was born, she's 25.
Yeah.
So I hope she's not Connie's mom.
Oh my gosh. Oh yeah. Well, she could be really Connie's sister. Which, by the way, like I can't be the only one who sees that they have the same shirt.
Yeah, they definitely borrowed a lot of elements of Connie's design for Lisa.
I wanna understand why she would try give us the medallion. Like Lisa obviously wants us to get the medallion so we would solve the puzzle and then she'll be
Mhm.
able to swoop in. But what would she try to kill us by locking the door? It doesn't make any sense, to be honest.
I think maybe at first she was like, "Oh, I need to throw Nancy off my scent, so I'm going to eliminate her." But then I think somewhere along the way, she's like, "Wait a second, I can just sit back and let Nancy do all the work and I'll get the treasure." So I'm guessing maybe she just changed her mind halfway through.
Oh, that makes sense. I guess.
I mean, I'm like, what's her real motive other than getting rich, really? So
Yeah,
did
all
she
she
think
wanted-
anything out?
And
Probably
why
not.
do I sympathize with the villain?
Money. I mean, honestly, in my opinion, she didn't think anything out because think
No.
about the fact that she vandalized the library
And
because she
okay,
misread the French.
also at the end of the game, Lisa's plan does not make sense because basically she knocks out Nancy and runs away, but they're still snowed in, right? So where was she going to go? She took the diamond, but how is she going to get away? Because they were still trapped in there.
She's going to dig a tunnel. And then once she finally got done digging that tunnel, it might take her a couple years.
I thought that it was so nice of Lisa to agree to answer all of our questions before she runs off, you know, with that tiara, with that diamond.
She does.
And also,
I have to respect a woman who uses spicy devil villain venom.
I have to respect a woman who uses Madonna as a reference.
Where did she reference Madonna?
Wait.
Okay, you haven't seen it? She was like, it's a material world, and I'm a material girl.
Oh yeah.
Okay, yeah.
As we are living.
Gotta give her respect for that.
Oh my goodness.
The fact that she mistranslated, I mean, it's so sad. The era before Google Translate. It's just so sad.
All of the thousands of dollars worth of damage caused.
It's just I'm trying to think so in Spanish it's biblioteca. What is it in French?
Wait, biblioteca is bibliothèque, which is
So how does she read whatever word it was and think it means library if she knows Spanish?
That's also another plot hole of this game. Is there's no way she could have read that word as library.
Yeah, especially since like I feel like anyone knows that like even I took Spanish and French, like I could like kind of I'm like, aren't they the same word practically?
And I mean, Lisa was fluent in Spanish, so she had seen bibliothèque. She should have immediately known certainly what it was, but that was not the word because I think we do see what the actual French was.
But
yeah,
wait,
it's on
hold on.
medallion.
Okay. I'm tipsy. Like rewind. So, what is the word that she didn't translate well? What is the word?
I don't remember.
She's translating one of the medallion things, I think, right?
Yeah, something.
And
one
she
of
says
those
she
things,
translates it wrong and thinks it means library, but she's fluent in Spanish, and Spanish library is the same as Spanish French. So, or not Spanish French. So Spanish for library is the same as French for library. Like they're very similar because they both derive from the same root language.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So it's like
Yeah, there's no way she could have read it as library. So it just kind of doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I mean, if I could see the word
Maybe it's just us.
that she mistranslated.
Yeah,
I could be like,
I-
yeah, doesn't make any sense, or
I don't remember it off the top of my head. Maybe we can look it up later and edit
Wait,
in.
oh,
But
was it like when you looked through the people with the medallion?
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, in that
Yeah.
case, it's the word is journal.
Ah,
Journal. Yeah, how would you read that as library?
because what is it? Now I want to know what it is in Spanish. Because like I feel like she should be able to. Because that's how I like passed French. Was I already had a basic knowledge of Spanish.
Yeah, it is journal. The diamond of my misery is in the journal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because that's what Hotchkiss translates it to.
Then
for
where
you.
did she get a library?
Yeah, no, it's just, it makes no sense.
We don't know. What is the Spanish word for journal? Then maybe we might know.
It certainly would not be anything close to. I mean, it's the French word is journal. It doesn't take a genius to know that
well,
that means journal.
In this context, it is diary. It is diary in English.
Yeah.
Or otherwise, it's newspaper. It could be diary or newspaper.
Yeah.
I guess this is why she left it up to Nancy, because I mean,
The Spanish word for journal is diario.
Daddy-o.
Yeah.
Diary.
Diario.
So maybe that's what it was. I don't know.
Okay, girl. Lisa, I see you, Lisa. I see you. Also, I wanna point out that you would think after all these games, Nancy would have learned to carry a weapon or pepper spray or anything. But no.
Why can't Nancy have some spicy devil villain venom?
But no. She is still
She's the
not
good guy.
equipped. And now she got pepper spray.
Yeah.
See, I feel like Nancy should carry something. Anything. Ninja stars. Oh, and another thing about the translations, like I think that Nancy's pronunciation of French was pretty good in this game. I just find it interesting that she can read and pronounce French really well, but she still needs help from a Hotchkiss to translate what the words mean. It's like,
Yeah, well, in Danger by Design, one of the future games, she says she took like 2 years of French in high school, so she has like a basic understanding of French.
but she doesn't know what the words are.
Yeah, but she doesn't know what like journal means.
Me after taking 2 years of French.
Oh my gosh. We need the help from the owl. What is it called, that app?
Duolingo.
We need help from Duolingo. Duolingo, help us.
Hey y'all, this is Jay Gregory here. Thank you so much for listening to The Real Housewives of River Heights. I apologize if I sound off while editing. I do have a cold, so my voice is a bit off, but this is going to be part 1 of episode 4, Treasure in a Royal Tower. Part 2 will be released in a couple of weeks. That'll have the gameplay content and Julia, aka Elise Chen's Q&A. They are an amazing creator. They created a remastered version of Treasure in a Royal Tower. So seeing that in updated graphics is amazing if you really love the game. So check that out, and their social medias in the bio below, as well as the Real Housewives of River Heights social medias. And as always, you can listen to us anywhere on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you like to listen. Like, comment, share. And as always, thank you and goodbye.
I like the Sunny June stuff, but yeah, they ruined it in that game. We'll get...
Like 2 years from now when we get to the Shadow Medallion, we'll talk about it.
2 years from
Especially since we release these episodes every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
There are a lot of games.
Yeah, there are a lot of games.
36.
Well, I mean, it's not like we will...
Are we including the dossiers?
No.
Only I played those. Got
I
that.
like the
I played them.
dossiers.
I like
yeah,
them.
I like those a lot.
Okay, good. Alright. The bloopers.